Welcome back. I am Tyler here with my brother Ryan. Today we are breaking down the Buffalo Bills 3-round mock draft and the players that we selected for them and why. But before we do that, be sure to like, subscribe, and also ring the bell to get notified whenever we create new Bills content. We have 3-round, 7-round, and individual mock drafts all leading up to the 2024 NFL Draft, a lot of which will be Bill specific as well. So be sure to ring that bell. Also, too, we're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the Super Bowl. We're doing a 3-round mock draft review for all 32 NFL teams. So we just need about 15 new subs per video to help reach that goal. So if it's your first time here, it's greatly appreciated to hit that subscribe button and also ring the bell and get notified whenever we create new content. Ryan, let's pull this up here. So just to quickly orient you to what you're seeing here. So the pick in red, that's in bold, that is the Bills selection. Then we have a couple picks before the team and who they selected and after as well, just to provide some context of who was available and who wasn't around this time of the pick. We also have some other potential options as well. Some players that we think that Bills could potentially select, but we're taking later on. So I ended up going with Leonard Taylor here. And so they do have a couple of key free agents moving on, hitting free agency. They're also not in the best cap space situation as of right now. I feel like the Bills could go a lot of different directions here. This easily could have been secondary. We had Kamari Lassiter going to Washington at pick 36. There was even a couple other guys, I think, also as well that if they would have fallen, I think would have been good picks like Quinion Mitchell, Enos Rakestraw. I think those guys we probably would have taken over Leonard Taylor, but they were taken before this. Yeah. So I think this helps beef up that interior here so they keep having the more one-on-one matchups on the outside. I think that's something that they have really been that led to a really successful year for this defense in 2023.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen our season recap already, I think we did a really good job of just kind of highlighting the offseason struggles that we think the Bills are about to go through. So I believe they're like negative $37 million in cap. Then also 3 of their top 4 defensive tackles are hitting free agency, and 3 of their top 4 edge rushers are hitting free agency. The only ones that are staying that are not hitting free agency are Gregory Rousseau and Ed Oliver. And I believe Von Miller is under contract, but there's some stipulations in there, and like none of his money's guaranteed. So forgive me if I'm wrong there, and I'm not looking at it off the top of my head. But that was another reason I think why we went with Leonard Taylor was he is going to be that interior defensive lineman that is going to be a run stuffer first, but then also has some pass rushing upside of his own. And I do really like him as a prospect. He's about 6'3", 305 pounds, really athletic, moves really well, and just a really solid, I think, defensive tackle option for this Buffalo Bills defense here.
So. Yeah. So, and just to kind of add on, as what you're saying, so Ed Oliver's on contract. He's the only one of 6 defensive tackles that were on contract last year to return. So I think that's good depth pieces as well. Could absolutely go secondary. No, it's good depth piece at minimum. Let's say they re-sign a lot of those guys back, like Daquan Jones. I think I would probably think that they might go secondary first if given the option. But how the players fell out, I really do like the Leonard Taylor pick here as well. But even though saying that, I think going on to their second pick though, they do end up going with Adessa Isaac as well. A similar situation also as what we were spoken about is a lot of guys are hitting free agency. This also could be a spot here as well where they do decide to focus on the secondary. You have DJ James that's also there. Kalen Bullock, if he would have fallen just a little bit more, would have been there. Josh Newton was taken just a couple picks later. So similar though as kind of what we were talking about is like just based off who was available and guys that we liked. And I think another thing interesting about this pick here as well is this is the last edge rusher taken until pick 96. There is a big gap between Adessa Isaac to the next edge rusher. So there's a lot more other cornerbacks that could be taken in between there and even by around their next pick. So that's why we decided to focus on the defensive interior here because of just how important that was to the Bills' success last year.
Yeah, no, and I really like Adessa Isaac. I think he was a good complementary piece to Chop Robinson at Penn State. He had, to me, a little bit more consistent production, whereas Chop Robinson really feasted on the lower quality teams. And then his performance is definitely slouched when they were going against the Ohio States, the Michigans. And I think Adessa Isaac was just a good all-around performer and played pretty consistently against a lot of the top competition there. And then also athletically, I think he probably will test really well. Kind of to move things on to the last pick here. It is a compensatory pick here at 99. Buffalo takes Junior Colson, linebacker, big dude, super athletic. I do think when this Buffalo defense was at its best 2 years ago, Tremaine Edmonds was in the middle of that defense, and he was this 6'5", 245-pound guy. He was the signal caller, and just kind of the heart of that defense. And he left to go to Chicago in free agency. And I really like Junior Colson. I think he could come in and play a similar role. Obviously, in his rookie year, probably not going to be the signal caller for that defense. But again, I really like the presence that he would bring to this front seven. Also, with a lot of guys moving, potentially moving on from the Bills, I think this would be a good piece to add, as I do think he could cover up some holes on linebacker blitzes. He can take on linemen in the run game if the defensive tackle play dips a little bit. So I think that would be a really good pick here. He's just a big athletic linebacker.
Yeah, I think also too, if you like to have some like diversity in your overall like athletic skill set, I think he's the opposite too, as well of Dorian Williams, who actually was a little bit technically on the smaller side for linebackers. So then you have this big guy right here. You can have them both on the field and be able to defend both the pass and the run a little bit better. But here though, it's I think almost 40 picks in between. So I think you're just kind of going for best player available here to round out day two. And so if they wanted, we have a couple other names here as well on the side, but I actually kind of like Junior Colson over both those picks. So let's just quickly recap here. And so went Leonard Taylor, beefed up that the defensive tackle spot, which has 5 guys hitting free agency out of the 6 that are currently signed a contract. Same thing then, same type of idea as well with going with Odessa Isaac, the edge rusher, also out of Penn State. Then wrapping up then with Junior Colson as well, the linebacker. Very defensive focused here. I think that's kind of the way that I think this is the overall kind of philosophy I think the Bills are going to take. Because if you look at their offense as right now, the only guy really hitting free agency that is up for really any debate is Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
So that's where, I mean, maybe they'll go receiver there to try and replace him. We talked about potentially Keon Coleman, and that would be his replacement. But, I mean, there's so many free agents on the defensive side of the ball. And so I think they're going to try and find some replacement, try and get younger in general, because the Bills defense is definitely on the older side. A lot of great talent, but just there's only a couple more years left on some of those guys.
Yeah, and that was the big thing for me was I think looking at them in this postseason recap video that we did, like Micah Hyde 33, Jordan Poyer 33, Leonard Floyd 31, Von Miller 34. Like all of these guys are approaching the end of their career, and it's just like they are like going to need some serious retooling for the long haul here, not just going out and signing free agents, but yeah. And then also I think you look at the cornerback spot, guys like Tre'Davious White coming off I believe a torn Achilles.
I think so, yeah.
And a torn Achilles or torn ACL, either one. But like he could never be the same, and he's 28 or 29 now. And so like they definitely just need to invest in some young pieces here and kind of have a changing of the guard, I think, because it's if it's not time now, it will be very soon. So let's go ahead and wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of this Buffalo Bills 3-round mock draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let us know what you would do differently. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.